Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Write and Retire Right, the first in a series of broadcasts that I'm doing concerning retirement. How prepared are you for retirement when majority of persons are living from paycheck to paycheck? If you were to lose your job or you are no longer part of the regular workforce, how will you survive? And the question is, how could writing be part of your plan for when you leave the workforce, that you could have a happy, fulfilling, and financially viable retirement with books? I'm C. Ruth Taylor, and in this short broadcast, I'm going to introduce you to one of my books published in 2020 called Write and Retire Right: Secrets to Write Nonfiction Fast and Create Sustainable Income in Retirement. And I've created a course around this book, and I'm just going to introduce you to that course. But first, let us talk about retirement and how could writing be a part of that. It is said that fortune favors the prepared. And so we want to be prepared for what lies ahead. And I just want to present a model using something that I'm passionate about to help you to make your retirement years happier and fulfilling. For those who are joining, I want you to type in the chat, how far away are you from age 65? Are you 10 years away? 5 years away? Uh, are you over 40? Let me know in the chat. Are you over 65? Are you under 90? So if you're over 40, type over 40. If you're over 50, type over 50. If you're over 60, type over 60. If you're over 70, type over 70 in the chat. So I'm going to do a little presentation and then invite you to ask questions. So round about 2019, for the pandemic, when I turned 39, I started looking back at my life, and I've been writing books from 2014. My first book was published in 2015, January 2015. Hi, Daphne. January 2015. And I kept launching books, and I would do stuff here and there. And turning 40, you think about that. What have you done with your life? And I wasn't happy with where I was. I felt like I didn't make the most of the opportunities in my 30s and 20s. I had a career as early as age 20. I left Teachers College at 20 and I started working, but I was so caught up with achieving more in terms of education and spirituality. All I wanted to do was to become a missionary. Hi, Stephanie. All I wanted to do was to become a missionary, travel around the world preaching the gospel. I made no preparation for housing. Um, Over time, my insurance policies lapsed and everything. And on the eve of turning 40, I started looking on my life. Yes, educationally, I had a master's degree and I had signed up for a doctoral program, but I wasn't happy with where I was. And so I said, since I kind of missed the mark in my 30s and 20s, because the best time to get a house or even to start a retirement plan is in your 20s and your 30s. The chances are better. And I felt like I missed that. And so I said, you know what matters is not what happened the last innings, is, using a cricket terminology, is the next innings, right? Or a baseball terminology. So I set out to make my next decade greater, make my later greater. And I said, what could I do to make the next decade one that I wouldn't regret, and to make it to do something extraordinary and all of that and prepare. And so the thing that I do best is write books. I mean, February, I achieved a feat that I didn't think I could achieve. I wrote and published a book in 10 days, right? And so I said, you know what? I'm going to write and retire right by age 50. So by the time I get to 50, I'll be in a position where I am doing well financially, and I want to do work that I enjoy. And I believe that I can go the extra mile in my fourth innings with books. And so that's how the whole write and retire right thing came about. And I'm just going to do a little breakdown. How is that relevant, and how could that help us in terms of with books? I want to say up front before I start sharing the PowerPoint that a book is not your ticket to riches quickly. It's not a get rich quick scheme. Too many people think that once they write a book and publish it, they're going to be an instant millionaire. Very few persons are A-listers. You have a following, or you get a publishing company to publish the book for you, and they're doing all the work, and instantly you sell many books and become a millionaire. The average author sells between 250 and 1,000 books in their lifetime, as independent authors, and even some of the traditionally published ones, meaning they have a big house that gives them an advance. And so, writing, I want to say off the bat, is not a get rich quick scheme. And many of you think that, okay, once I write a book, I'm going to be okay. And while it is possible, I just want to bust the myths and present to you a model that, yes, you can become a millionaire with a book, but you have to become strategic. And I just want to share a little bit on that. So I'd ask you in the chat to tell me, are you over 40? Are you over 50? Are you in retirement? Are you between 60 and 70 years of age? Just type that in the chat so I know who my audience is. Or if you're watching on the replay, let's do that. So let me get into the presentation quickly and then have you ask me some questions. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's try that again. I need the PowerPoint to come up. All right, so let me share screen. So I am 43 and I want to retire by age 50, at least to be in a position by age 50 that I don't have to work. So Stephanie's over 50. Good afternoon, Diana. All right, thank you, Stephanie. I'm just trying to bring up this PowerPoint, y'all, so that I can share some interesting facts. All right, let's try that again. Share screen. Is my PowerPoint up? The entire screen. Yeah. Okay. Window. Okay, yes, here it is. All right, so here's the presentation, and then you can ask me questions. So let's go. All right, let's start from the top. This thing giving me a little trouble. All right, so I like to say that a book is the perfect spark to get the fire going in your personal life, career, business, or ministry. Now, one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal is to end poverty in all forms and to promote well-being for all at all ages, and to promote sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth and productive employment and work for all. Now, for those of us who are Jamaicans, I know this is international, but I'm going to put it in the context of my country. I'm from Jamaica. Vision 2030 Jamaica was a 21-year plan that was put together from 2009 to 2030, and it's embodied in the tagline, Jamaica, the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. And so they had these goals for a strategic long-term development plan for 21 years, and we are 6 years away from fulfilling that. As they broke down that plan and the outcomes, one of the things that they said is that they wanted to expand opportunities for the poor to engage in sustainable livelihoods, design and implement programs that support poor households to seek and retain employment. But here's a part that is related to our topic. They wanted to promote personal responsibility and planning for retirement, and to strengthen the family capacity to care for the vulnerable members. And the vulnerable members very often are the elderly, right? And many Jamaicans back in the day think their children is their old age pension, right? But so what I'm trying to do is to do my part to make this vision a reality by showing you how we can be personally responsible and plan for retirement and make books a part of that. So outcome 4 involved using intellectual property. So things that you think up and create from your mind as a tool for economic development. And that includes your ideas that you put in a book. And so books are what I love. Books are what has taken me out of poverty or has put me in a position where I'm able to sustain myself financially. But it is not by selling thousands of books. And I want to share that strategy with you this evening. All right. So I make a full-time living as an authorpreneur or author entrepreneur, meaning I create products and services around books that enable me to sustain myself financially and to make a difference in the world. I teach people how to thrive with books. And I've been doing that full time. I haven't had another job since 2018. It has been my books and my book-based initiatives that is giving me my income and sustaining me. I'm doing a doctoral program. I have maybe about a year and 15 months to go, and my dissertation is going to be in this area, to show how entrepreneurship can be a model for poverty alleviation, how we can use writing and publishing to create social change and to promote socio-economic development. In other words, how books can help us to be financially better off and to create change. All right, so the average life expectancy in Jamaica is 73 years for men and 76 years for women. So one person put in the chat that she's over 50. All right. So if in your 50s, based on this, you have at least 20 more years, all right, to survive. And the question is, when they kick you out of the workforce at 65, because that's what they do in retirement, they say enough, you have to leave. When you're kicked out of the workforce at 60 or 65, when we're at a stage where most people are living paycheck to paycheck, so if you are fired, if you lose your job, most people cannot survive for 3 months. Not just in Jamaica, but even in the US. Are you prepared for that? So when you are forced to leave the work force, or it's time for you to go, do you have any plan in place for that? And how much money do you need to live on? For men is 73 years, average life expectancy. For women is 76 years. So women tend to live longer than men. So I am 43 now. So based on that, let's see, 76 minus 43. Based on that, I have 33 more years to live if nothing happens. And the question is, how will I survive? Well, I'm already surviving based on the fact that I've created an ecosystem around books that support me financially, which I want to share. But what I want to do in terms of retirement, which for me is changing your life work pace and still having enough income or money to survive. So the current pension in Jamaica is calculated. The average that is based on your best 3 years of contribution out of the last 10 years. This means that the amount of pension you receive will depend on your work earnings. So the maximum pension payable currently in Jamaica is $31,500 per week, or US $203 per week, or the income would be about 1.6 million per year, or $136,500 per month, or 880 US dollars. So you could aim for 1,000 US dollars per month to be able to, that's average pension payable in Jamaica. Now, can you live on 1.6 million per year as a pensioner? And if you are not working, where is this 1.6 million? If you have a pension, is that enough for you to thrive and survive on? And how could we use a book to supplement all of that? In the US, the average retirement income between 65 and 69 is about 57, call it 58,000, right, per year. In your 70s, it declines. 70 74, you're looking at about 50,000 per year. In other words, when you look at the age on the screen there, between 30, call it 37,000 and 58,000 a year, you're looking at you need between 3,100 to $4,800 per month, to be able to survive. That's the retirement income, and some people need more than that, right? So how could books help in that? All right, I'm not seeing the comments yet because of the view of the screen that I'm using. So right and retire right. This lady here is Dr. Clara Ricketts. She is one of my retiree rock star. Tomorrow on the Entrepreneur Secrets podcast, I'm going to share her story. Dr. Ricketts left, I think, at 60 rather than 65. And when she left, she's an educator specializing in special education. And most of the things, her retirement years have been her most productive years. So at age 60, between, I think she started her doctorate, or she finished her doctorate around about age 70. She started it in retirement in her late 60s. And then at age 74, thereabout, she converted her dissertation into a book. And she had started a school called Shore Foundation for children with learning and behavior disorders. And then what she did, she converted her book to a course called Yes They Can, which she's been offering online. And she started the Yes They Can Academy. She's 79 right now, and she is currently working towards another book for her 80th birthday that will tell her story. But she has been thriving in retirement. She found a way to create income using her skill, and she also found a way to incorporate books in there. No, she hasn't sold, like, say, I don't think she sold 500 copies of her book, but because of the book, she was invited to another Caribbean island where they paid her to speak. If I'm not taking tales out of school, um, she got paid. She got paid enough. It may have been less than 1,000 US dollars, but they also covered her airfare and everything. And a few persons bought books. So the book opened the door for her to speak and do a workshop, and all of that was covered. And I think maybe about 1,500 US dollars was generated from that. But she's a retiree rock star, and we've seen how books have been able to help her to generate income. The aim is that the book will be able to either replace your regular income or give you 10 to 50% of to supplement 10 to 15% of your regular income, and it's an addition to your retirement pension. If you have been paying NIS or Social Security, this will supplement it. Or depending on how hard you want to go or the price you put at your book, this can help. One of our authors in his 60s wrote a book, published a book this year. The kind of book that he wrote, it is such that it is kind of like it's a compendium of extraordinary Jamaicans. And he was selling one version of his book, the hardcover, for 150 US dollars. Not Jamaican, US dollars. So if he sold 10 books at 150, that's 1,500 US dollars for every 10 books, right? So if he sold 100 books, that would be 15,000 US dollars. And we're not talking selling thousands of books. And so if 100 books might cost maybe 1,000 something US to print, or maybe even 2,000 US dollars, and you sell 100 at 150. Do the math, Bobby. You still have a whole heap of money. That's what we talk about. So it's the kind of book and the pricing. But even if you were to price your book at, say, 5,000 Jamaican dollars or 35 US, if each year you were to sell 100 books, that would be what? 3,500 US dollars in Jamaican. What's the math on that? 3,500 US times about 155 is how much? Let's do the math there. 3,500 times 100. That's 350,000 Jamaican in the year for just 100 books. And that's not bad. That's a little extra income there coming in. Let me wrap this up fast here. So, depending on how you price your book, if your aim is to at least get the average income, say minimum wage, say the 1.5 million a year, or if you just want to earn an extra million Jamaican dollars each year, how could your books help you to do that? If you were determined to sell like 200 books and you price the book at, say, each book at 5,000 Jamaican dollars, all you need to do is sell 200 books and you would have $1,000,000. Now, how much, when you subtract your printing costs for 200 books, it might be what? 200 books might be about 600 US. So 600 US times 600 US times to get the Jamaican, 600 times 155 would be about 93,000. But if you're selling each book for $5,000, you see the profit margin there. And we're just talking about minimum quantities of 100. If you're just going by the Amazon prices, it would take you have to sell more books to make 47,000 US dollars, which is a whole heap of money for us in the Caribbean or Jamaican. If we earn this, we could be good to go, right? So here's what you could do with a book. If you created a course around your book for $47, all you probably need is you could create a course around your book for $47, right? And if 1,000 people buy that, maybe over 3 to 5 years. So if you're in your 40s or 50s, you can start planning from now, 5 to 10 years before what you want to do. Over a 3-year period or 5-year period, you perhaps could get 1,000 people in that course. So that would be 1,000. But what if the thing is $99? Then you $99 divided by 47,000, or just look at that. Look at the potential there. maybe 400 students. So you could create a digital product. But what if you created a program, like a subscription program, where each month the person have to pay you $99? All right. If you had, or $47, if you had 50 people giving a recurring income of $47 each month for a program you provide around your book based on your expertise, that would be 4,700 US per month. Do the math on that in Jamaican dollars for my Jamaican friends. 4,700 times 155. That would be 700, over 700,000 a month. All right. So look at the figures there on the screen. You're seeing the potential. And this is not just, this is creating a program from the book. So, how have I been able to survive? Just using, not selling a whole heap of books, but creating programs. One book, I remember the book Entrepreneur Secrets, you see there, I turned it into a boot camp, and I have charged between 100 and 500 US dollars per person for that program, which is a publishing program, teach people to write and publish. I started a membership group to teach people how to write and publish using this one book. $47 per month is now $99 per month per person. So if I have 10 persons in the program, that's $990 every single month. You know, that's almost 1,000 US per month. And that's like 150,000 Jamaican. And depending on your expertise and who you are, you can charge more for the things if you want to do coaching and counseling. And then you can determine the pace at which you do these things. So that's what I'm proposing that you can do with a book. Or, like that gentleman, if you created something for $150, right, around your book, or you created a book that could sell for 150 US dollars or 100 US dollars, you wouldn't need to sell a lot of books each year to be able to supplement your income. If your book is $100, or you have a course, a program, something for $100, and you get 10 people US dollars to join, that's $1,000. You could do that every quarter. You could do that twice a year. That's supplementary income in retirement. And the copyright on books go up in Jamaica. It's 95 years after death. So your book becomes asset for the next generation. And so without stressing out yourself, because you're in retirement, right? You could partner with family and friends and do things around your book that could create extra income. And if it is selling books alone, you could give yourself a 2 to 3 year period to sell 1,000 books. And that would generate over $1 million. Even if you're selling the book for $2,500, $2,500 times 1,000, that's over 2.5 million Jamaican dollars. That's over 20,000 US dollars. And so I want you to consider making books a part of your retirement plan so that you can be financially independent. I hope this isn't gone over your head. To wrap this up, what kind of books? We're talking about small books that you want to publish on a budget. That it means you're going to publish the book for less than 1,000 US dollars. And the Entrepreneur Secrets Academy helps you to do that. The book Write and Retire Right teaches you how to write a book in 24 hours or 30 days. And then the course has video tutorials, audio tutorials. Well, the book is based on the audiobook to help you. So you could, as a person in your 40s and 50s, you have a lot of experience. The same thing you are doing in the workforce or are doing, you could put that knowledge in a book with your name on it, tell your story, or a passion project that you have or something you're passionate about, tell your story, and that can be your book. Small book, 10 to 30,000 words. Tell your story, chronicle your expertise, your life experiences, lessons learned, create a book, and then you can leverage that. You can do different things with the book. There are over 30 plus income streams from a book and it's all there that you can generate. And then once you're in the book business, you could, if you're good at editing and proofreading, and maybe you want to become a publisher, that can also become extra income for you. You can do freelance publishing services, freelance editing, right? Editing, for example, say what we call copy editing can be anywhere from $10 to $25 per 1,000 words. So if you're editing a book every now and then, you know, the different services that can generate income for you. And so I want you to think about that too, that if you're a school teacher or you're good at English, you could do freelance publishing services as well. If you are, whatever skill you have, it can also play out, not just with the book, but what comes together in terms of putting a book together. That's something additional. And that's what we're doing in Bamboo Sparks. Some of the people on our team, they are retirees, and they've been able to earn extra income by offering publishing services and of course with their books. And so I've created this course, Write and Retire Right. It's a self-paced 6 weeks course that takes you how you can write the book, how you can publish it cost effectively, and then how you can leverage that book to make a living, to supplement your pension without stressing yourself out. And you're going to hear various retiree rock star stories in there, exercises to do. But it's time for questions. What do you think of what I have shared? Does it make sense? Does it excite you? Is it something you want to consider? For the 4 persons who are here, what resonated with you from that presentation? Did I share too much? Did it go over your head? Talk to me. Any question from Diana? Any question from Stephanie? Any question from Daphne? So Diana is over 60. Anything I shared there that made sense, that resonated? Is it something you want to try? I'm hearing crickets. Nothing, no questions for me. It's clear how a book can be used to create income. And it's not just to create the income. In retirement, there are 2 things that are going to be of essence. What are you going to do? And how are you going to survive financially? So what a book does, when you write a book, it opens doors. People will begin to invite you to places to share. So the book now will help you to be active. It could be, if you're a Christian, it can be your testimony or your memoir, or like I said, it positions, it's a platform to get active, right? There is one of our clients, he loves evangelism, and he wrote a book on personal evangelism, and it's being used for training, and he's now just so busy with that, you know. The book opens doors, and so it will give you something to do. The writing itself will give you something to do, and then it becomes a conversation starter. Suppose it's a legacy book and you're just writing your story for your children, you can use it to bring the family together. It can become a talking point. We've had other retirees where the book has brought the family together. And like I said, Dr. Rickles ended up going to speak overseas. And there are just so many things that the book does. So any question? So what I would want you to do is think about the kind of book you want to write. Sign up for this course. The course also comes with a bonus consultation session with me. And the course helps you to design a whole retirement thing. What is your dream? What you want it to look like? How much money you want? And then you also have a session with me. It's only $99, but you can do it at your own pace because it is self-paced. Let me see any question. There are no question. All right, let me wrap up then with showing you the website, the landing page that you can go and preview the course. Let me just share that and run through the page. Are there genres that are more suitable for income generating? Non-fiction helps. For example, non-fiction is by far the easiest in a sense, right? If you're looking at your expertise or your story. So if you want to write your memoir, memoirs really sell a lot in the Caribbean, but what can you build around it? Maybe you are a counselor, maybe you want to put your program in there, or you write a story around that. So nonfiction really lend itself to that. The 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 author that is selling his book for $150, they're really interviews and stories that he chronicled, but it's who he interviewed. um for me, if you're teaching something, a how-to book is great. So you can use the how-to book. You're teaching something, that can work. So there's an author, he has a book about mind renewal. So those self-help kind of books, it lends itself to you creating programs easily. Look at this, Write and Retire Right. I am teaching something. So I'm sharing stories and teaching a process. A book that does that is very essential, to build. If you don't want to be a speaker, you can build other things around it. Uh, yeah, so those genres lend themselves more. So, like even your book, Daphne, because you're an author, Dancing Among Snakes is about overcoming adversities. So, you can use that book, to help persons, who are faced with adversities. You could start a book club, you could do talks, different things can be done with that. But you could also just focus on selling the books, because remember, I gave you the figures. If you're selling that book for $3,000 and you sell 200 each year, $3,000 times 200 is how much? Just that. 3,000 times 200. That's 600,000 Jamaican dollars. If you say you want to have $1 million by age 65 set aside, or to invest, 1 million divided by 3,000, that is 300 and something books you need to sell. But set yourself maybe to sell 1,000 books in 2 to 3 years. Invest some of that money, set it aside, and that could work. So I'm trying to make it as practical as possible, that you can see how a book can supplement your income. Let me run through the course page quickly. So it's a Write and Retire Right Masterclass for retirees and pre-retirees to design a happy, fruitful, and financially viable retirement with a book. It's only $99 or 15,000 Jamaican. It starts March 25. You can click here to preview the course and see the sample tutorials that are there. I have testimonials. It's a one-time fee. You get the audio book. You're gonna hear retiree author stories. There are video tutorials and audio tutorials. So the audio books are treated like, the audio book chapters are treated like lessons. So there are about 20 of them. I didn't narrate my own book. So it's done by Candice, so you won't hear me. And they are short, sometimes 5 minutes. I think the max would have been 12 minutes for one of the lessons there. And then there are video tutorials. There's a tutorial in there that of an actual workshop that I did. And that workshop, I got over $300 just for that workshop. Paid over $300 for the workshop. I've thrown it in here. And remember, this whole course alone is $99. There are tips to win in retirement. There are worksheets, recommended resources, testimonials. And there is a workshop that I did at the University of Technology with two friends. That's a free workshop. You can go and watch it, the abridged version, about 53 minutes, and you can hear more about our stories and how that helped. Patricia Reed Waugh shared her story, how illness forced her into retirement, and how books have been helping her. And what she's doing is teaching people how to prepare for retirement and how to make retirement an adventure. All right, so it's $99. You can pay using a credit card, or if you have a PayPal balance, or if you want to pay in Jamaican dollars, it's all there. So it's extramileja8.com/write and retire right. And if you want to preview the course, it's 6 weeks, 6 modules. There's a course guide. Hopefully, you're seeing this next tab. Well, let me stop share and bring it up just to be sure that you are seeing the right page. Let me go again. I want to make sure you're seeing the right page. Share screen. I'm going to show you the course preview, what is on the course page. All right, so we have the flyer there. You can download the course guide. You can choose to buy the print book or the ebook if you wish, because the course comes with the audio book. I have why there's a video, 8-minute video on why you should write. There's a course welcome video, right? Then there are the audio tutorials here. Then how to write a book in 30 days or 24 hours. That's the workshop I was talking about. I've included it here. And there are worksheets, idea to book worksheet, publishing plan worksheet, your write and retire right worksheet. And when you have completed module 4, book a session with me to work through your book idea, bring the worksheets, and let's talk about what to do next. And then we have some writing and retirement stories of these rock stars. We had one lady who published her first book at age 90. You're going to hear her story. All right. Again, we have more worksheets I'm going to share. You get my own story, Write and Retire Right story here, and what I am doing. And it comes with a bonus book just to motivate you. It's called Embracing Destiny, 21 Pep Talks to Walk in Your Greatness. So that's another audiobook that you get as bonus thrown in there. That's based on a man who at 85 was, conquering new mountains. and then there are resources like books here. There's a financial advisor information and how you can publish your book cost effectively. So it's power packed. You can go at your own pace. And then you can book a session with me that's complimentary to go through it so that you can design a happier and fulfilling retirement with books. So it opens March 25. If you choose to sign up now, that's okay. You will get the details, by March 25. You get the password and everything to access the course. All right. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? I know people are going to watch this on the replay. Okay. So Stephanie says, very interesting presentation. Am I still sharing screen? I need to take that off. Or maybe I wasn't sharing screen. All right. Daphne says, are there genres? Okay. So Stephanie says she started to save for publishing. Good. I started publishing with no money. I was unemployed and broke when I started my publishing journey. Some people get sponsorship too, And if you join the Entrepreneur Secrets Academy, which it's a 6-month program every January each year, you can learn how to publish on a budget for less than between $500 and $1,000 US. Daphne says, based on her experience, her book has opened doors. And then Diana says, well, I just published my first book. Well, now let's put a plan together how to maximize that and make it work. Yeah, I want to challenge us. I'm going to challenge myself. So since I have 6 years to go before 50, all right, well, six and something, because my birthday is in May. I want to challenge us in 5 years to use our books to generate $1 million towards our retirement. Can we do that? Think about it. I want to issue $1 million challenge with books. $1 million in Jamaican. In US, I want to challenge you to earn 10,000 US dollars in the next 5 years with a book. And then set that aside towards your retirement, and you can also invest. I'm going to take that challenge and track with you. Um, I probably need to make my challenge a little higher. How fast can you generate $1 million or 10,000 US dollars with a book? I'm going to challenge those who watch this to do it, and maybe we can come up with something for the person who does it the fastest. Join me on this Write and Retire Right journey. $1 million, it won't take me 5 years to generate that based on my book based initiative. So I need to give myself a bigger challenge. um, yeah, I need to give myself maybe a 50,000 US dollar challenge towards my retirement with books. And that would be books and courses, books and membership groups, books and coaching, selling the book itself, sell 1,000 copies of the book, and set aside that money for retirement. How about it? Who is with me on the challenge? We're going to end with that. The $1 million book challenge. Who is with me? Daphne, can we do it? The $1 million book challenge. In the next 2 to 5 years, set aside that. We're talking cash. Set that aside for retirement. So that the first year in our retirement, we have $1 million put down. It's not that difficult, people. I'm going to create a community and we're going to challenge ourselves. Yeah, the $1 million book challenge has begun. Or some of us are going to be more than that. But yeah, let's do this. Thank you for joining. Share this with a friend if you found it interesting. And yeah, a giveaway. I should have been doing a giveaway now, but I'm gonna put my link in the chat. There is a free book that I have on the website extramileja.com. You can download the Rocket Writer for free, and it will teach you how to write a book in 24 hours or 30 days. And then you can come on my mailing list and we can keep in touch. All right. So the $1 million book challenge has been issued. Let's do this. Take care, everybody.